Good morning, folks, and welcome back to Ferrum Wrestling 411. I'm your host, Gary Holden. With me is head wrestling coach at Ferrum College, Ryan Riggs. Ryan, welcome.
Good to be here.
So you've been on the show a number of times, but
Right.
This is your first coaching show as the head coach.
Right.
So setting some milestones here.
Yep.
So how are things going so far? You guys have got one competition under your belt and everything. Workouts are going okay?
Yeah, workout's been really good. We had October, several weeks of training, doing it safely with testing. We returned after breaks with families the 28th, and we've been rolling since. So.
Okay, good. You've had one competition so far. You guys went up to the Star City Classic up at the Salem Civic Center, and then you've had a couple that have been postponed. One possibly might be rescheduled and everything, and you got one coming up towards the end of the month and everything. Why don't we jump right into it and talk a little bit about the Star City Classic?
Yep.
This is a tournament that was being hosted at the Salem Civic Center. We've had this tournament for a number of years. And looks like you had 7 teams were in the tournament this year. Ferrum won 4 individual titles. Liberty University won 4, and Averett grabbed the other 2. We say we jump in by weight class. There was no team score kept, correct?
Right, no team score.
Okay. Let's jump in right down, starting at 125. You had J.D. McMillan.
Yep. Yeah, he got off to a slow start first match, but showed a lot of grit, came back for 3rd place. And you know, we had already reviewed film and talked, and you'll see big things that come from him this year. And I was his drill partner yesterday, so.
I'm excited about seeing what he's going to do this year because he
Yep.
really showed a lot of promise as a freshman last year.
Right.
Yep. All right, 133. You had a champion, and then you had one more wrestler in that weight class. Levi Engelman, your returning 2-time All-American. He won the weight class. Looks like he had a tough match in the finals, though. 5-3 over Jones from Averett.
Yeah, it was a tight score, but he was dominant in the finals, and you know he'll continue to get better and score more points. And then Sheldon Mills wrestled as well, freshman out of Georgia.
Okay. All right. All right, so moving on to 141. You had another one of your returning All-Americans, Mario Vasquez. He finished 2nd in the tournament. I know he wrestled a kid that's a 1 or 2-time qualifier in the NCAA tournament.
Yep. Yeah, he was All-American last year.
Woody from Averett.
Brandon Woody.
Got it.
Or national qualifier year before, but nationally ranked. He's inside top 10 this year. They've had, you know, met previously multiple times. This is the closest Mario's closed the gap. And, you know, it came down to a stall call at the last 3 seconds. Just can't allow him to get to his dominant position. And, you know, Mario, a lot of confidence. And next time, you know, we pair up against him in a dual meet and postseason. And, you know, I'm looking to Woody bring his best too. And Mario, I'm excited with the things we're working on to implement his more offense.
These might be 2 of the best wrestlers in the country, and they're located 60, 75 minutes apart from each other.
Yep.
Yep. All right, so who else did you have in that weight class? I see you had Hayden Funk. Was that the only other one? No, Jonathan.
Jonathan Ward.
Jonathan Ward, yep.
Yep, out of North Carolina. Yeah, Hayden just continues to make the adjustments. Extremely hard worker in the wrestling room. And, you know, he'll start implementing those in his matches. And you'll see that come out of the work in the room. Then Jonathan Ward, West Craven High School, extremely athletic, and, you know, he'll continue to grow each match as the season continues.
Good. Be looking forward to seeing how those younger guys start to come along. So 149 pounds, you had Austin Smith. No, I'm sorry, this was not the weight class with Austin Smith. He's up a couple weight classes this year.
He used to be 149.
So who you had in this weight class? You had Charles Tisby, Caden Dalton, Stephen Muller, and I think you had one more too, Tyler Ramirez.
Yep.
Freshman out of Texas.
Yep. Yeah, just starting with Caden, Grit, Scrappy, you know, all these guys. It's a deep weight class for us here. And the black and gold, I mean, they're competitive matches. Tyler Ramirez really showed dominant performance in the black and gold. Didn't reach the podium, but very excited about the future of him being a Panther here, what he's doing in the room. Extremely scrappy, one of the hardest workers, one of the fastest runners. And he was our first commit last year. He's from Texas, New Braunfels High School. And again, I just can't speak, you know, enough about that guy. But you know, you'll see exciting things that come from him.
And you had Stephen Muller and Charles Tisby, your California kid.
Yep, Charles Tisby, Temecula, California. Yeah, again, scrappy, just hasn't had quite the wins in the wins column that he's looking for, but again, he's one of the guys that shows up, puts in the work, one of our top GPA students.
He works for me. He works for me, so you don't have to tell me. He's one of my best work study students, just an incredible kid, and I love having him around.
Yeah, Charles is awesome. Caden Dalton, mentioned him, junior. Stephen Mueller out of Connecticut, senior. Really just put a lot of things together, academically, work ethic in here, attitude, all that. So he'll continue to improve too.
And he's bumped up a couple weight classes since he got here. I remember him coming in at 133, and now he's up at 149, and he's probably barely making the weight.
Yeah, so he's not the biggest 49, maybe adjust down to 41. But yeah, it's good things that come from Steve too.
Let's move up to 157. You had Justin Guy and Christian Height, 2 guys in the finals. Looks like you had about 8 guys in the tournament, and Ferrum had 2 in the finals. Yep. Guy won the tournament with a fall in the finals. Christian Height was his opponent. Height ended up beating the #1 seed from Liberty in a close match, 8-5. Yep. Talk a little bit about those guys.
Yeah, and then you have Isaac Hudson in there.
Yep.
He made a drop from 65 last year.
Yep.
Oscar Smith High School. But yeah, Christian continued to make adjustments from in the room, black and gold, and just exciting performance in the semifinals. And then Justin Guy, out of North Carolina, that was the best tournament I've seen him put together his college career. He's only a sophomore, one of the most athletic student athletes on the team here.
Yeah, I was impressed at the black and gold with him. I know he lost his black and gold match, but he shows a lot of potential. He looks like he could be an up and coming star for us.
Yep. Yeah, he's just starting to put everything together.
Moving up to 165. This is the weight class where Austin Smith is now.
Yes.
And I remember Austin when he first came here. He was a smaller guy, and he's packed on quite a bit of weight and everything. It looks good. Yep.
Yeah, he's one thing about Austin, doesn't matter the weight class, he's going to go out full effort, try to score points the entire time. He really wanted to wrestle in the finals, but just had a slight injury, and so we hold him back. And that's just his mentality, super tough.
His mentality seems like he's just trying to pin somebody. Doesn't matter if he's wrestling a first-year wrestler or he's got a 2-time All-American. His goal, it looks like he's always trying to pin somebody.
Yep. Yeah, and Austin's readmitted the spring semester, finalizing his final semester here. So, it's exciting to have him back in the room. Just extreme leader, extremely positive.
Yep.
And yeah, exciting to watch.
During the black and gold, I noticed that he was one of the ones cheering the most, trying to pump people up. It was a quiet gym. We're not having fans for indoor sports right now, so he was one of the ones that was kind of keeping things going and everything. So. Who else do you have in that weight class? Anybody else, or was it just those 2?
Brandon Harrison. So he's a senior. He's graduating in 3 years.
Got his first 2 college wins.
First 2 college wins. And I'll tell you, he's been putting so much work over the summer and in the preseason. I'd be in my office and look out the window and see him doing tire flips. Yeah. He's perfect grades, top GPA win leader consistently. And he has 1 acceptance to law school with the full ride and interviews. And applications that he submitted to Duke, Washington and Lee, and UVA.
Yep. So he's a kid that's going places.
Yeah, and he's just complete transformation. I remember his campus visit, had him play ultimate frisbee with the team, and his dad was on campus, and it was just he knew this was a place for him instantly.
Not only did he get his first college win, he got his first college pin as well. He picked up 2 wins at the Star City Classic, including a pin. That's great. And the pin was in the first period, too.
Right.
That's great. All right, 174. Let's move on up to there. Elijah Martin won the weight class for you. And I think you had a couple guys. Dustin Martinez was in that weight class for us, and so was Chris Reynoso, who I was really impressed with at the black and gold.
Yep, and Joshua Johnson.
Yep.
But yeah, just starting with Elijah, biggest win of his college career. He's only a sophomore. He beat a returning All-American, George Mosley. And again, just one of the best tournaments too. So big things that come from him. And they were separated. He was 57 last year. Mosley was 84, and they met at 74. And that just shows the work Elijah's putting in. Extremely competitive. Yeah. And real happy for him.
He's just a sophomore, correct?
Yeah, just a sophomore.
Yep.
Yep. Union Pines High School out of North Carolina.
Chris Reynoso.
Yeah, he's talk about athletic, and he only started wrestling 10th grade. He was up on returning All-American, 2 or 3 takedowns. Ended up getting the pinned, taking the bottom position, but working on those lesser strengths and all 3 positions. I mean, you're just going to see this guy have an outstanding year.
Yep. Disappointing match in the quarters, losing there, but then he comes wrestled back into a third place.
Came back for third, yeah.
Win and everything. So that's always impressive when you can see a freshman who loses a match and then doesn't let that match carry over and beat them again emotionally, and they lose a match. Came back through and wrestled a couple more matches to get that win.
Yeah, and just he's made huge strides, jumps, this whole aspect of being a student athlete, and we had a nice connection. Coach Primus at Cortland, he was college teammates and roommates with one of my best friends from high school, Tom Strawn, who was a national champion. So it's nice having those connections. And
Coach Primus, he's wasn't he involved a lot with the Virginia wrestling?
Yep.
VAWA, yeah. Yep. All right, move up to let's go on up to.
We got one more, Josh Johnson.
Oh, Josh Johnson. Okay.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit what happened. I know he had an injury in the tournament.
Yeah. So this is his second tournament placement ever and his highest placement. So it's he can't speak enough about him, just his toughness. And so he was wrestling a guy from Shenandoah, and the Shenandoah wrestler was behind him with his arm trapped and returned him to the shoulder. That was trapped. Which is an illegal slam.
So that's probably a disqualification, correct?
Yeah, yep. And it was dislocated. Lauren, our athletic trainer, was there and handled it well. And but he just had a good attitude the whole time. And it was second to last match of the entire tournament. So we spent our evening late at the Roanoke Memorial Hospital. But I made a post on social media. Just I try to keep wrestling, but my arm wouldn't move. Yeah. That's the mentality. Just our guys always keep fighting, overcome challenges, and he's still involved with the team, attending practices, and we're going to roll out a highlight video here soon, which he did. Got all the clips with that, and
that's great.
Just keep him involved, and
he'll be back.
Yep. Yeah, he'll be back stronger.
Yep. All right, so 184, we didn't have anybody in that weight class. Our 184 pounder, we're going to talk about this a little bit later. He was busy this weekend doing something else.
Yeah.
We'll explain that. Let's jump up to 197. Braden Holmes, you're returning All-American from last year. He's a junior. He ended up winning the weight class, was down in the finals, 1-0, came back to post a 7-2 win. Pretty dominant fashion throughout the whole tournament.
Yeah, dominant performance, and he really opened up just his offense, scoring points. And dominant tournament. Extremely proud of Braden. He's with the new NWCA coaches rankings. He's sitting at number 9, but he'll continue and climb those rankings.
And Levi, your 133 pounder, Levi Engelman, I understand he's in the top 5.
Yeah, he's number 3.
That's great.
Yep.
That's great. All right, talk a little bit about. He had another guy in this weight class. You had David Thomas.
Yeah, David Thomas. It just shows. It's you reap what you sow. And I think he learned a lot from this moving forward, and continue to make those adjustments.
Good. All right, 285. You had 2 wrestlers in this weight class.
Yep.
First one we had was George Mitchell, and then we had Rayshawn Dixon.
Yep, Ray's a freshman, Douglas Byrd High School, North Carolina. Extremely athletic, very strong. He didn't place, but you're going to see a lot from this guy this year.
Mm-hmm. Looks pretty athletic for a heavyweight. I watched him in black and gold, and he's shooting singles and doubles and good mobility. Yeah,
he wrestled Wade Wheeler. Came back in the third, just takedown after takedown, but wasn't quite enough. And he's at Emory and Henry. He transferred from Campbell.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you'll continue to see Ray shine on the mat. It's he making the adjustments needed, and his effort. That's all I ask for is going out to score points and full effort, and that's where you can identify the growth that we need to be the best version of Ferrum wrestling every competition. And that's what we're doing. And we have Tyreek Nolan, who's second assistant here, and just grateful he can scrap with him because I'm certainly not wrestling Ray. So.
It's always great. I coach wrestling up in New Hampshire, and it's always great to have a heavier coach if you're a lighter guy. I was able to work out with the 25s all the way up through till 160-ish.
Yeah.
And after that, it got too much for me, and so it was great to have a heavier guy that could work out with those, the big guys, especially your big men.
Right.
Yeah. All right, Ryan, let's talk a little bit about, you had a couple matches that were either postponed or canceled. You were supposed to wrestle.
Oh, we got George Mitchell too.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's right. We didn't talk about George. Sorry, George.
Yeah, George went 1-2. He's he stayed remote fall and missed some training there, but completely respect that, and did an outstanding job in the classroom. Has always done that, and he came in the 28th ready to go, and just continued to see a lot of growth from him too. And
I saw where he scored a pin about 2 seconds left in his match in one of the matches that he wrestled in the tournament.
Yep.
That's great. So let's talk a little bit about what we've had. We've had Emory and Henry and Southern Virginia. Both of those been either postponed or canceled for one reason or the other. Your next competition is going to be a week from this coming Sunday at Shenandoah.
Yes.
First year program.
Yep. Yeah, and we're grateful every time we step on the mat. We're at the mercy of the testing, and we're being as safe as possible.
Sure.
And things have been going really well since the 28th, and there's things out of our control, but we're rolling with the punches. And we may have something exciting in store for the viewers come this Saturday.
What do you got?
We're looking at Instagram Live, Coach Meister versus returning academic All-American and Wrestling All-American Braden Holmes. And so you'll definitely want to tune into that one. They wrestled in the fall. We did simulation matches where we strap on the singlets, come in like it's a match day, and Braden wants a little revenge. So I think that'll be some good visibility.
Okay, so what time is that going to be on Saturday? That's coming this Saturday, the 23rd?
This Saturday, the 23rd. Our practice, our competition simulation matches start 10 a.m. in the wrestling room. We'll post, we'll announce the time for the actual bout.
Okay, so folks can just watch out on social media for that.
Yep.
Great. Coach, let's talk a little bit about your 184-pounder, DeMonte Winslow. We mentioned that we didn't have a 184-pounder in the tournament. Tell the folks a little bit about what he's doing right now.
Yeah, so DeMonte Winslow, he's one of our top student athletes here. He's in Army National Guard, and so he got called to duty protecting the Capitol. And he's been up there, and who knows when he'll return home, but we've been keeping in touch. He was able to reach out and continue to, and he's doing well and still part of the team, just up towards in DC. So
yeah, I sent him a message the other day, and he seems like he's staying pretty positive and everything. So.
Yeah, he's one of the most solid individuals on the team. Great leader. Pushes Braden Holmes in here. They're great workout partners, and he was a regional place winner too. So that's a guy that's going to continue to make huge strides.
Well, DeMonte, when you get back in town here, we're going to definitely have you on the show. Let you tell us a little bit about kind of things that you went through up there and how things are going. So, all right, Coach. Next show, we're going to try to do this weekly if we can during the season. So for right now, we're at Friday the 22nd. We'll shoot for Friday the 29th for our next show.
Sounds good.
Okay, great. Well, Coach, listen, I really appreciate you being on the show with us and everything, the first one of the year. I know we went a little bit long this time, but we can shorten it up a little bit next time if we feel like we have to. But, folks, I hope you've enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed the first show of the year. We will see you next Friday. I'm Gary Holden for Ryan Riggs. Thanks for being with us, and have a great weekend.
See you soon.